Hello, I'm Russell Brand. I'm host of the Trews. This is a Trews Comments edition. Subscribe here, subscribe here. We're talking about your comments. Your comments will be about the episode of the Trews we did with George Monbiot, talking about TTIP. Also, we'll be talking, obviously, about me being the true news this week. Billy Bass says, one of the issues every Brit should be aware of is the totally corrupt TTIP agreement that needs the most robust opposition to stop it in its tracks. Well, we did learn that from that episode of the Trews. I thought George Monbiot, he was like my favourite teacher or a lovely uncle.
I think I'm going to have to find a new metaphor.
Tell us a story, Uncle George, about the TTIP. Tell us about the TTIP, Uncle George. Typhoon says, I'm more interested in who Russell Brand is working for, spreading his socialist propaganda. It's not propaganda either. It's information and musings and thoughts, theories, and sometimes cold hard facts, as in the case with the TTIP thing. You know, because that TTIP thing, Typhoon, you lunatic, will mean, if that goes through, that corporations become unstoppable juggernauts smashing through your life like a, well, look at your name. 210 Banksy. Terrifying, he begins, or she. Anyone else really disheartened that most people don't care about this stuff or are in denial? Feel like I'm banging my head against the wall and I'm in a minority. Well, you would be. That's a ridiculous club to join. The headbangers. Come on. That's not going to help the TTIP. If anything, it'll make it worse. You feel like I'm in a minority of socially conscious people concerned about all this. Will we ever make a difference? Even Russell takes loads of flack. Don't worry about the flack. The flack attack ain't real. You realise this when you get flack attacks, that it's just like a big lot of noise, and then you just go, and it's gone away again. It's like just a lot of racket. It's just a lot of racket. Say even if you go on a show like Question Time, the audience there, so listen, I'm just telling you how media works, is carefully selected. So like 40% of the audience will be Tory voters, they have representatives of UKIP. So like, it's not like representative, it's not like real people in a real situation, it's media. What goes on in the world of media is a construction, even if it's called the news. That's why we do the Trews, to demonstrate that there's an agenda, there's a language, there's a grammar. It's not just like, hello, it's 9 o'clock, here's the objective truth, and that's why I'm talking, how everyone else talks in this weird way. Like, do you know what I mean? It says, don't worry, it's just a story. Everything's just a story. So if we create a different story, then that can alter reality. That's what I reckon, old bean. Mike Boltinghouse, who's got an oddly formal name on his comments thing. RB's rapacious capitalism is the only reason Earth has over 7 billion humans. Under any other system, half would have been exterminated by now. We're going to use a loving spiritual Buddhist socialism where people live in tribes like humans did before the advent of agriculture, but using technology to communicate is going to be sustainable. We're going to control the power of big corporations and be as responsible for our own resources as much as possible, only centralising big things like, I suppose, water, sewage and health. And we're going to execute. Capitalism is compassion, continues Mike Boltinghouse. Once you shit-can this system, you are going to have a true class of slave drones. Do not forget about Pol Pot, Kim Tu-sung, Mao or Stalin. I have forgotten about him a bit, but no, look, it's not either this or that. That's the conventional media narrative. Well, unless you want great big giant juggernaut companies smashing through your life, it's Kim Sung-il 2 or whatever he's called. It's this weird guy. Hello! Do you want him? Yeah, do ya? No, he seems horrible. Right. Get down fucking Vodafone and buy something then. Alright, cheer. I've already got a phone. Get another one. However, if you RB sycophants are keen to dump our current paradigm, better start on your gardens and collect your water buckets. That would be quite a good idea, actually, because that's part of it. You'd be happier. Life is going to get real hard. Oh, and buy a generator. This must include a stockpile of fuel for it. Actually, he's really changed his tune. He's got on board now. Actually, I think it's going to be okay. We're going to get some allotments. Thinking about it, do you know that human sewage can be used to fertilise? Also, the gas created naturally by cow manure can be used to run a certain type of gas cooker, as being shown in certain ashrams in India. Check that out now. Sustainable farms in India are using human sewage and cow sewage to run farms. Mike Boltinghouse turned into a sort of a radical green sort of collectivist by the end of his own comments. Do you realise you'll be dead in the gutter by tea time, but then you'll be born again? Lee Christel. Russell, you make more sense to this humble scaffolder than anyone I've ever heard. I know you're a good man, and I will trust you with this country of ours. God bless, fella. That nearly made me cry. That nearly actually made me cry. Lee Crystal, you bastard! With these sentiments, you are spoiling us. The reference I'm using is a Ferrero Rocher advert because I can't cope with real emotions, Lee. So nice one, Lee. Thanks for that, mate. We're in it together. We're in it together. Mojinure Knives says, Marxist wanker. I think Gareth, who assembles these, likes to keep a good balance. Right, Russell will be nearly crying now from Lee Christel's sentiments. Better get someone calling him a Marxist wanker, bring him back to her. Hey! Amaru Navaraz says, I find the choice of vocabulary that the media use quite interesting. If you removed 3 letters, red tape would spell rape, which surely has subconscious impact of instilling fear and hatred for the concept. It might be. I mean, it's a bit mad, Amaru, but... yeah, all right. Subliminal messages. You sure though? Have you thought about it? Because you could probably do that with. Let me look at your emails. Like instilling fear, hatred. Even hatred. If you put a gap in it, it says hat red, and makes me think of like Papa Smurf, because he's the only one that had a red hat. Simeon Gimp, if you get time, this could do with a response. All right, we've got time, mate. I see any comments like this all the time. Brand is a distraction agent at best and a dangerous shill at worst. I see that a lot as well. What do you mean? Am I right? Okay, right, things is going badly. Get Russell Brand to really point that out. Like, if you think about what I'm saying as well, it's like don't focus on me, I'm not the message, I'm not important. But there are inequalities in the system. Change is definitely possible. It's been proven. People live different systems, running different ways. There are academics coming up with new things all the time. I'm not a distraction agent. I'm not a shill. Don't even know what that means. And I'm not, what's the other one? Illuminati. I'm not in any of them. I'm Russell. I'm from Grays. My mum's called Babs. My dad's called Ron. No one's in the Illuminati. What is your response to comments such as these? A lot of people are asking, who does Russell Brand really work for? Self-employed. I have worked for... TGI Fridays, Pizza Hut, a restaurant called Capone's, sold photocopier cartridges for a while. Kelly B, on Channel 4's How Rich Are You? The main argument for those supporting this inequality is that under extreme capitalism everyone is richer and better off overall. So there's a colossal gap between the richest and poor, but it's for the good of the poor in general. Surely this idea is flawed though, because the economic system is abstract and ultimately we'll have resources, finite, stable. These cannot grow. Kelly B, you've nailed it there, love. I'm reminded of an episode of Blackadder when Baldrick goes,
the thing is, the way I see it, these days there's a war on, right? And ages ago there wasn't a war on, right? So there must have been a moment when there not being a war on went away, right? And there being a war on came along. So what I want to know is, how did we get from the one case of affairs to the other case of affairs?
Do you mean, how did the war start?
Yeah.
You see, Baldrick, in order to prevent war in Europe, 2 superblocks developed. Us, the French and the Russians on one side, and the Germans and Austro-Hungary on the other. The idea was to have 2 vast opposing armies, each acting as the other's deterrent. That way, there could never be a war.
But this is a sort of a war, isn't it, sir?
Yes, that's right. You see, there was a tiny flaw in the plan.
What was that, sir?
It was bollocks.
It's the same as that. It's just bollocks. It's not like that's not actually going to work. It'll trickle down. It won't trickle down. It's trickling up. That's where it's trickling. Up it goes. That's just a thing to say. Shit. How are we going to justify this terrible inequality? Trickling down? Trickling, yes. Like same as say for something like ancient, like the caste system in India, which if we was Indians, and maybe you are, you'd go, oh no, that caste system, that's good as gold, that's been there ages, it's part of our religion, right? Well, at some point, people came up with it, and the people that came up with it are the people that are at the top of that caste system, the warrior class and the priest class, and anthropologists say that likely they came in from some other region and went, oh my god, there's loads of these fuckers, and there's only a few of us, tell them that we was appointed by God to be in charge. Wait, we're appointed by God, use a lot of genetically, or whatever words you used before you knew terms like genetically, different, so we better be in charge. It's a system, actually, we've written it down. And that's all that's happening now to us. We can all understand, can't we, that the days of racism and homophobia are wrong. Like, you can't have black people go to school here, and white people go to school there, and gay people go to hospital here, and non-gay folk go to hospital. We can understand that now, that that's wrong. But we accept that rich people can live here, go to hospital here, go to school here, where poor people go to hospital here, live here, stay, we accept that as normal. But do you know what the main factor is on whether or not you're rich or poor? whether or not you were born rich or poor. If you were born poor, you're probably going to be poor. If you were born rich, you're probably going to be rich. Yeah, there's a little bit of social mobility, but that's as much bollocks as the trickle-down effect. So really, it's just a myth, a system that because it's a small people controlling a lot of people, they have to say that there's some inherent value to it being the way it is. But as Blackadder said, it was bollocks. Dan32113, Russ, the agenda is to take away the message from New Era and concentrate on your swish pad. They don't give a fuck about the people who might lose their homes. We're all in it together, Cameron. It's exactly right, because even if you go Russell Brand's a hypocrite, park it and then go, but what about this issue of the New Era estate? What is that right? Should Westbrook be buying that estate, raising rents of a social housing project like that and moving people out, scattering a community that should be considered part of our heritage, as valuable as any national park or palace? No, is the answer. Graham Frost. Russell, the media's reaction to your latest activist transgression only amplifies that we are spoon-fed information. The media are rattled by your actions. It's obvious. Keep going and keep pissing off these institutions. Graham Frost, I will, mate. You can rely on me. I'll Rasputin them fuckers so hard. I will point and Rasputin, bring in proper hardcore East End women from every angle. All I'm doing is like, she's doing it, Lindsay or other Lindsay or Danielle, they're like the New Era folk. All I'm doing is standing there getting the camera to come. That's all I'm doing. Saying that now we're going to do some stuff with the Fire Brigade Union. We're just interested in helping people that have got legit causes. Like, you know, the media are interested in amplifying the message of people that already have power. The big businesses are interested in hiding the truth. Politicians are interested in empty rhetoric. We've got to be interested in a different thing, representing one another in whatever way we can, accepting that we're not perfect. When I spoke to my mate Matt after doing after the Channel 4 Downing Street thing, Matt goes, no one has ever left Downing Street in that mood before. You're a snide. Alright, let's do one. Come on, let's do one. You're a snide, we're doing one. We're going home. Mad mood to leave Downing Street in. That's where all those things happened. Hello, and we can see Margaret Thatcher now tearfully leaving Downing Street for the last time. We're off, mate. Finn Reagan. Well, the Sun had that coming, to be honest. It's a shit paper, and in trying to sell more copies by provoking Russell, all they've done is reduce their sales. I urge everyone to avoid buying this trash unless you need some top quality toilet paper. Wouldn't even be that good. I like that one where it's got a bear in the advert. Whereas the Sun, all you're getting is mad, jolly, amplified hate. Rock licks guitar tuition. Russell, is your bedroom wall real brick or brick wallpaper? Brick wallpaper is hypocrisy in its purest form. Rick licks guitar just for you. I'll show you that this is genuine brick there, bare brick. Oh, bare brick. Oh, you bourgeois bastard. Oh, that copy of the New Statesman you done. Oh, this thing, that's hypocrisy. Oh, painting an ex-girlfriend done. That's bloody hypocritical. All right, well, that is some true news. News you can trust. I'm Russell Brand. Subscribe here. Stay in communication with us. We love you. We love you.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the news. If the news was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.
Established structures of power and the semiotics of power. Westbrook are kicking us out, they're raising the rent, Tory MPs are involved. I was thinking, well, I've got to do things to help. This is happening. You're a snide. Alright, let's do one.